Oh my goodness, man. 1,061! Oh,
Hail Satan!
hey guys, what's going on? Druzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer video, and the first time of hopefully many videos to come on how to play the newest card being put into Phone Destroyer. So the newest card that came out on Christmas Day, which was yesterday, so happy belated Christmas to all of you who are watching whenever you watch this video. But anyways, the Woodland Critters are here in the game. I've already done a video, obviously, which was kind of a first look of the Woodland Critters, but now we've actually got to play them on ladder in actual gameplay. So I have a ton of tips for you in this video here today. Some of them, obviously, to help make your play with Woodland Critters the best possible that you can, and then some cards that are easy to deal with, as well as probably the best rotation I have found for Woodland Critters. Now, there are a variety of different things and different tips and tricks for this card, but I'm going to try to do the best I possibly can here today to give you the best potential to be as strong as you can with this card. So obviously you guys are going to let me know down below in the comment section any additions that you have to this video, but let's just get started with it. So Woodland Critters are a really fun card actually here within the game. Obviously during the current weekend event you're able to have the card boosted. Many of you will probably have Woodland Critters to level 4, 5, or 6 respectively, if you're even lucky to have a level 6 epic card in the neutral rarity. But obviously if we look and remember at the card stats real quick, you can see here on screen, so most of you will be probably playing at max 4 or max 5. So max 5 is the way I was able to play, so it's really nice to get that 849 HP boost and 83 attack boost each time you kill a friendly unit close to you. And then of course many of you maybe at lower arenas like in bronze or maybe silver shield were able to play it at max 4. So max 5 is generally the echelon you want to get with an epic card. Usually level 5 is the best possible stat boost that you can see for a card at the epic rarity. So if you're able to play it at 4 and 5, you have some really good potential with this card. If you don't, then you're really not honestly getting the best potential for the Woodland Critters overall. So I mean, there's a lot to mess around with. There's a lot of cards that really make this card as strong as humanly possible, but I'm going to show you guys what I think are the top 5 cards to pair with Woodland Critters, and I'll quickly talk about why with each of them. So to me, the top 5 best cards to pair with Woodland Critters: Master Ninja, Dark Angel Red, Jesus, Hanky, and Mysterion. Now with Ninja, it's self-explanatory. You're going to get that War Cry, gives an immediate damage boost. Then if you cancel Ninja, you also get the additional boost of the attack up and the health buff, obviously, from killing Ninja. Obviously, it's kind of a risky kind of combination because that's 8 energy you have to commit to, but if you play it right, you can really get some definitely huge potential with that. Dark Angel Red is great for Woodland Critters, more so to bring them back to life if they're near death and kind of keep them more safe. But, you know, as far as an overall card with what it provides, other than just the ability to War Cry and bring it back, you know, to either a safe area location possibly, or at least to keep it alive longer, that's really all the value Dark Angel Red really provides for you with Woodland Critters. Jesus is a phenomenal card to pair with Woodland Critters. Jesus has 3 parts of him that really help make Woodland Critters amazing. Number 1, when you cast him on Woodland Critters, he can provide that initial heal right away. Then if you kill it with Woodland Critters, he will then revive back and be able to potentially heal again, as well as be able to be killed again to give 2 potential boosts to Woodland Critters for both that health and damage boost. So those 3 cards definitely intertwine together really well, obviously are within the same theme, so Mystic might be the best theme to pair with Woodland Critters for obvious reasons. Hanky is great because Hanky you can use for his War Cry to boost your ability to charge more often with Woodland Critters and be able to kill more units and keep them alive that much longer potentially, and give them that much more of a damage boost, right? And then Mysterion is really, really good that I found to be successful for me, and many of you may also find, because you can kill him and his death wish will cause him to revive again. So if you have Mysterion, say, at low health and he's about to die, you could possibly kill him with the Woodland Critters, and then he'll slowly levitate back to New Kid Right, and then you can start the process over and over and over again. So there are a ton of other cards other than just these 5 that really boost Woodland Critters, and let's break them all down real fast. Alright guys, all the different cards that can help make the Woodland Critters even better. Obviously, first part of this top row here, anything that has swarm potential. Chaos hamsters, pigeon gang, rats, chicken coop, underpants gnomes, all have swarm style potential and are swarm cards. The plus of a swarm unit is that Woodland Critters will only take out one swarm unit at a time, so it would only kill one of the 2 hamsters, one of the 5 or 6 pigeons, one of the 4 or 5 rats, so on and so forth. And then Terrence and Phillip obviously are a swarm card. You'd only cancel one of them. They would stay alive. Visitors, same thing. All of the Randy cards have the potential to cause a swarm unit with their charge ability, but I feel like Mary Jane Randy is the best possible Randy to pair with Woodland Critter, just because of the fact that you have the potential to put the plant down as a distraction. Woodland Critter can kill the plant potentially, depending on where Mary Jane Randy is situated, and or Mary Jane Randy would be sacrificed, but the plant could possibly still be there for Woodland Critter to still be useful and viable and have a possible distraction to keep it alive longer. Gizmo Ike also has swarm potential. Obviously, that's if you're able to get his charge off or multiple times, but Gizmo Ike could be potentially also a very strong card to be paired with it. In the next row down below it is cards that will boost its overall damage for Woodland Critters. Elven King Bradley will obviously add damage due to the boost it gives to ranged units. Bounty Hunter Kyle and Gunslinger Kyle do so as well. And then, of course, Ninju will also do the same thing, but we already mentioned him in the top 5 cards for me. For the next row is mostly survivability or health or speed boost. So you got Paladin Butters, you got Regen Hallelujah, Angel Wendy, Deckhand Butters. So with Paladin Butters, we'll give you that survivability with the shield and the Death Wish, obviously, so we can die very quickly, give you that potential shield to keep it alive longer. Regen Hallelujah, Angel Wendy, Deckhand Butters, Friar Jimmy, and Medicine Woman Sharon will all provide a healing potential buff to Woodland Critters to help keep it alive a little bit longer. Then you have Astro Butters and Warboy Tweak can give it that speed boost, which could be nice and potentially beneficial for you to be able to attack faster, because remember, Woodland Critters doesn't have an AoE attack, it's only base standard attacks, so you need to be able to possibly keep it alive longer or better or do more damage by having that boost. Purify can help counteract anything that maybe DSR does against it, like a Dragon Slayer Red, or anything that kind of works to try to limit the damage potential against Woodland Critters. I also forgot Kyle of the Drow Elves could provide that shielding as well, but you run the risk with Kyle of the Drow Elves to have Woodland Critters kill it for a reason that we will discuss here in a little bit. And then the bottom row are just potential cards that are really good to also help it, that are kind of secret little additional cards you could use. Youth Pastor Craig could obviously make it to where you can't cancel or use a spell against Woodland Critters, because spells are some of the best ways to deal with it, which we'll talk about here in a second. Zen Cartman might be the best tank to use with Woodland Critters. Because of its cheap cost, you can sacrifice only a 3 energy cost Zen, potentially get it back to rotation relatively quickly and be able to use it again. Plus Zen can be a great distraction with his charge to be able to distract enemies, so Woodland Critters can stay behind Zen and do some potentially devastating damage. And then of course you got Robin Tweak, could give that boost with its apple or Warcry ability, right, to give you that healing apple to make Woodland Critters that much better. So holy crap, that is a lot of cards that can make Woodland Critters better, as well as a plus any other card with a Death Wish. So obviously something like Carboy Butters, something like Hermes Kenny, so on and so forth. There are quite a few that we haven't mentioned, but anyone that has a Death Wish that can just die really quickly, give that boost to Woodland Critters, is all the better. So what are some nice ways to deal with Woodland Critters? Let's look at those cards right now. So again, the great counters: Lightning Bolt, Power Bind. Power Bind might be the best way to deal with Woodland Critters. It's a quick energy cost of only 2, and so you get a positive trade. It can't do its charge ability, which is the main thing that keeps Woodland Critters to make it be so dang good. And then it's basically almost worthless, right? Power Bind is a phenomenal spell ability that more people are starting to use and be wiser with. Lightning Bolt, depending on level of Woodland Critters, you can take it out early if it's not gotten its boost yet. Unholy Combustion can obviously cancel it. Yes, it is a negative energy trade of 1 energy, but it still could be beneficial for you. Inuit Kenny, I know here on screen it shows him at 4 energy. He's only 3 energy now. So Inuit Kenny obviously could be nice to deal with Woodland Critters, because obviously Woodland Critters they would be a positive trade for you of 1 energy by killing it potentially with Inuit Kenny. Transmog and Sorceress Leanne can be able to also directly cancel potentially Woodland Critters and get them off the screen, which would be nice. Also, something that's easy to help deal with Woodland Critters is Swarm against it, because again, it's only doing just standard basic attacks and doesn't have an AoE potential. You have rats can easily swarm around it and kill it, Underpants Gnomes potentially. Pigeon Gain was a phenomenal card to deal with it if boosted by something like Frontier Bradley as well. Terrence and Phillip can do it, and Visitors are really good at chipping it down if they're able to target it and not be killed very quickly. Dwarf King Clyde can be good with his Warcry depending on the Woodland Critters level, or if Woodland Critters has had any boosts of any kind before using Dwarf King Clyde. Satan could potentially kill it as well with its Warcry, as well as the charge abilities of President Garrison and Stain of Many Moons could potentially kill it. Also, those things are all based on levels of both what you're going up against with Woodland Critter and what you have with those two cards specifically. So there's a lot of potential to deal with Woodland Critters. I would, in all honesty, as far as for my tier list, which I will be doing a tier list video here in the coming days, but for my tier list for the end of 2020, I would put Woodland Critters probably around B tier. I know that some of you might put it a little bit higher. We'll talk about that in that video specifically, but I think Woodland Critters have a ton of potential for cards that could boost them. But again, they're extremely situational, and they have a ton of stuff that can deal with it. So it's not like completely an overpowered card, but it is a good card and has potentially insane potential to be a very strong card, as you saw in the very beginning of this video where I got over 1,000 plus damage. But let's talk real quick, guys, of what I think is one of the best possible rotations to pair with Woodland Critters that can help you get an idea of how best to use it to the best of its ability. So I think probably the best potential start for Woodland Critters is obviously to play Woodland Critters first, then quickly play something like Master Ninja to boost its overall damage. You can then sacrifice Master Ninja to then help the Woodland Critters get that initial boost of damage as well as that initial boost of health, which will just be devastating to work against you. Then there are a couple of different ways you could go here. I think one of the best ways to then go with it is to, if you have the ability to, pair Jesus with it next. Again, Jesus can provide that initial heal depending on what you're going up against as far as what your opponent has. And then you can also then sacrifice Jesus. He'll be able to revive, heal again potentially depending on, again, what you're going up against, and then just be able to give you double the boost for 2 sacrifices of Jesus. Then you could put something like, if depending on where Woodland Critter is on the screen, put some kind of distraction to help keep Woodland Critters alive. Whether it's something like Mary Jane Randy, any of the Randys that could potentially put a swarm out, any kind of fighter card that could potentially help boost it as well. But I think Zen Cartman might be the best overall pick here, because again, Zen can distract, Zen is a cheap cost, and if you absolutely had to get rid of Zen Cartman, you then could, and therefore you'd still have the potential to bring it back relatively quickly. Then if you can, put some kind of swarm unit on there to hopefully help the Woodland Critters sacrifice them and be able to boost its overall health and healing, or its overall health and damage yet again, or any kind of card that has some kind of death wish that you could easily kill, that's usually relatively low cost, that doesn't really sacrifice your overall push or potential. There are some problem areas with Woodland Critters that some people may struggle with that I'm going to talk about real quick here before we wrap up this video. The main thing that people kind of forget about it, and that is in the description of the card: be wary when playing this card about what you kill. Remember, the charge describes kills the closest ally you own. So you need to be able to focus on trying to kill the unit that's closest to Woodland Critters to give you the best potential to make Woodland Critters that much more dangerous. So if you have a tank that's far out in front of Woodland Critters, but you have another, say, range card close by, whether it's Ninja, whether it's Jesus, so on and so forth, or some kind of swarm unit close by to Woodland Critters, you have the potential to kill them first rather than sacrificing your tank. So it's not a random unit on your screen, it's the closest ally you currently own at the time that could potentially boost the Woodland Critters damage and make them that much more dangerous. So obviously, playing a smart card that really helps benefit Woodland Critters closest to Woodland Critters is the best way to go as far as focusing on what to hopefully sacrifice for yourself. Obviously, it's going to be situational where there's times where other cards are going to die, and maybe you just need to get a sacrifice through with Woodland Critters to keep it alive the longest possible. So obviously, everything comes down to situation in this game, And eventually there will be new cards added to this game after this video comes out that could change the potential of a solid rotation with this card. But as of right now in the recording of this video, this to me is some of the best tips, strategies, and rotations I can give you for this card to help give you the best potential to be devastating with Woodland Critters. Well guys, I know that was a lot of information, but hopefully this helps you get a better idea of how best to play Woodland Critters. Obviously, some of you may have some other strategies and tips for this card as well. Always leave it down below in the comments section to help all the other players that could be potentially watching this video at a later date or watching it relatively recently. I did have a lot of fun playing with this Woodland Critters card. I really think the card is fun overall to play, but again is situational, has strengths and weaknesses, and has a lot of ways to deal with it and make it not as devastating. But if you really build this card up, really give it the potential that, or really kind of get a good rotation with some luck, you can really have a lot of fun with this card, which I really did in my most recent stream that I streamed with this card after its initial release. So it was a ton of fun to play with. Hope this video helped you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This did take me a decent amount of time to work on, so a like and any kind of rating would be greatly appreciated. It is not mandatory by any stretch of the imagination. Like would also show me that you guys are interested in watching these type of videos again in the future, and I do plan on trying to continue this and make this an actual series I add to my repertoire within the channel of anytime a new card comes out, do one of these kind of how to play videos after I get some gameplay with it and kind of get a better understanding of the card. But I'm by no means the best South Park Phone Destroyer player out there. There are plenty of other content creators out there. You can also watch their videos. I'm sure many of them will also have other tips and tricks as well. And again, you guys also know just almost as much, if not more than me sometimes, about these kind of cards too. But that was a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful again. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, guys, my name is Druzy.